day, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Project B.U.I.L.D podcast. I am Ibrahim Yaradua Akali. I remain your host, and with me today is someone whom I've known for quite a while, in some years. He's here to share some very important nuggets with us, especially for young professionals. And as you know, on this podcast, we are very keen on the capacity development and leadership potential of young professionals. So, join me as I welcome on stage Mr. Uzoma. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening, Abraham. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you also for the introduction. I really appreciate it. And also, just to add, we're done with the work you are doing. Right, it's a great one, especially reaching out
Thank
right
you, sir.
information to our geoscience community and the YP audience as well. It's a nice one. Kudos to you and the team.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you here. So, I'll go over your bio and then we can begin. So, Uzoma is an early career geoscientist, a project manager, and a dedicated volunteer for various professional associations. He's a graduate of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and he currently works at Seplat Energy PLC as a graduate exploration geoscience intern. He's someone who has really contributed to the growth of geosciences right from his undergraduate days, which I can attest to that. He was also a beneficiary of the Federal Scholarship Board during his undergraduate days and a two-time recipient of the AAPG Austin undergraduate grant. Mr. Ozoma, you're welcome. And
Thank
as
you.
we begin today, I know it's very essential for us to hear directly from you. I would like you in a couple of minutes to just introduce yourself and to reflect on your journey as a young professional.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, once again, I really appreciate the opportunity. For my journey, okay, let's start with the introduction. Like as you've rightly mentioned, my name is Uzoma God's Power Iboirisim, and my my journey into geosciences has been, or my journey in geosciences has been one of so much joy, right? As we navigate both the challenges and then the wins, there's been so much joy in the learnings that I have to take as a young professional, right? And then one key platform that I'll forever be grateful to will be the NAPI community, right? It's one community that really did well um, in presenting the opportunity to maximize access to information, access to network, right, and access to opportunities that should help one grow and attain heights within the industry. So thinking about my um, journey so far, yeah, I cannot deny the God factor within the journey, right? Everything that um, we have done, everything that I have done, everything that I have engaged in, right, would not turn out the way it turned out if not for the grace of God, mercy of God, and also His favor. So yeah, that's essentially it's what my journey has been like. If I try to reflect um, on it, it's just been characterized by God's hands, basically, right? And so that's it. That's it for me.
Thank you so much for that. To go back to your point on NAPI, I think I remember how I was able to get in touch with you. It was via a NAPI conference per se. During you were in charge of the whole. There's this students program that you were in charge of. I think that's
Interesting.
where I first got to meet you. And to be honest, Mr. Usoma, um, you really, really are someone whom I've been looking up to since then. I admire how you have carried
No,
yourself over the
thank
years,
you so
the efforts
much.
I've seen you putting in. And
Thank you.
now where you are, I would like you to just give us, just how were you able to, get into this space where you are currently serving where you are currently pursuing a career as an exploration geoscientist? How were you able to do that?
Hmm. Beginnings. Thank you so much for your kind words, Ibrahim. So one, I don't want to call it a fun fact, but it's something I kind of struggle with, which is how you meet people, right?
Yeah,
Many a times when I look at the people around me, my friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and all, I try to remember where and how did I actually meet this person, and my memory fail me sometimes, it fail me most times, right? In that aspect, and when you mentioned it, I was like, how did we meet? I really can't remember. So that's just to put it out. That's just something to put out there, right? And it also ties to the question that you asked: how did I begin getting this involved in NAPI? F- Funny enough, that's even one beginning I think I can really remember, right? Because it all started off in my early days as an undergraduate, right, in Futo, that's the Federal University of Technology. Owerri. Sometime around my second year, that should be in 2019, I I started off becoming interested in the activities of NAPI. Then, the programs that were usually held were in Lagos. So
yeah,
the Napi Oka Owerri chapter had not even come into the pictures at that time. So majority of the times, distance was a challenge, right? Traveling, footing the bills, you traveling, paying all those. So I started off connecting through the webinars, right? So with I think Napias at the time um, was maximizing Zoom. If I can remember it well enough, they were
yeah,
maximizing Zoom for their programs. So I usually used to join those programs, and I would share the flyers within my level chat, and I think some other level chat and join it too. And that's how it all started, right? And I was sharing that, majority of the times, a funny backstory is majority of the times my colleagues, my classmates then, they were just too bothered by how frequently I do share those flyers. And long the long story down the line was they started calling me Mr. Nappy, especially within
yeah,
that that circle. And how it's even turned out that it was a very key foundational business. I think you did student politics in school. So like I did also, when it was time to, contest for the position of the president of the student associations, that's NAPI, APG, NMGS, and also SCG. It was quite easy, right, for my name to be known, because I had already
yeah,
started engaging with the NAPI community, right, as it was in Lagos, and then sharing that information, and people had already like tagged me with that identity. So that's how it all started, and then we started planning towards going for my first conference, and I think I did that sometime around 2021. I think I attended my first conference in 2021. As at the time, my very good friend Ohale Uchechukwu
yeah,
volunteered for the conference, and I took you too from that. I was like, okay, since we've been actively participating in the programs of NAPE, getting value from these programs, it's high time also you also exchange that value. You switch the tables and offer value too over to the community and those that are within that community. And that was how my volunteering journey started with NAPI, and that was a major platform for my involvement in the activities of NAPI. It was just through volunteering. So I started off being a volunteer within the UAP community, that's University Assistance Program
yeah.
team. And the first UAP I worked with then was Dr. Madwaria Emmanuel. Right, he did an awesome job within that in that position. And then that team, I worked alongside Ada Mareta, Adobe, Banjoko Abioye, and FG, Fejiro. So in that team, we worked within different capacities, and I started. After we worked with Dr. Madwaria Emmanuel, his team, that's we the volunteers as a team transitioned to working for the next UAP was Mr. Philip Ajebili. And then within Mr. Philip Ajebili's team, I was working as a project manager for all of the students' activities that were to be connected within his 2 years as a UAPC chairman, UAP chairman rather. So that was just how it's been going from one volunteering to another volunteering position, right? So the third UAP I worked with being Dr. Ifeanyi Obi, right? And now working with Dr. Fola Fatumbi. And not just only did I work within the UAP community or within the UAP team, I also ventured into any other place I felt like I could contribute. And one key standing one, another some other key standing committees I worked with, and even currently working with, it's the NAPI social media team, and
Yeah.
then it's the exhibition team, and then as of last year, I worked with the registration team, that's mentioned if you also the short courses team. So I've worked within within the committees, subcommittees in NAPI, planning towards the conference, planning towards technical meetings, just giving off my time, right? So I was exchanging my time, I was offering my time for the value that NAPI could get by that, by leveraging on that time, or the impact that they can offer or make by leveraging on that time. And that's how it's been so far. So working with different teams, volunteering with different teams, and as a particular point in time, I also worked with the president-elect, vice president and president-elect, or vice president and president. So he was vice president before he then became the president, and that's Mr. John Bosco Uche. Worked with
Yeah.
him also within his team, an advisory team within his team. So it's just been me offering myself my resources if when possible, and then chiefly my time. So yeah, that's it.
I must really commend you on your journey so far. And
Thank you.
some of the key things I picked from what you said, when you said you started with sharing flyers, and links to webinars, and also trying your best to attend some of these conferences despite the distance. It's one thing that many students do not really understand right now. A lot of them keep giving the excuse of distance, of not being included in some activities and the rest. But they don't know that putting in the efforts, no matter how small it is, can go a long way. Just as you said, we started with these little efforts, and now here we are. Well done. I must commend you, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much. So, well, aside even putting the effort, doing a great job too matters, right? Not
yes,
trying
yes,
to mess up things. So it's usually good that when, especially for the volunteering, physical volunteering
yeah,
aspects at the NAPI conference, when you're given that opportunity, to me, it's more or less a responsibility, right? Because lot of what we, a whole lot of the successes to an extent that NAPI is going to see at the annual conferences will also
yeah.
depend on how well the volunteers perform, right? Because
Yes.
you are going to be working on like real life responsibilities as at that particular point. So it is taking that responsibility, okay, initially starting off with you offering yourself, your value, your resources and time, and then once the responsibility gets to your table, handling that responsibility with the seriousness, with the discipline, with the zeal that matters. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
My next question that I would like us to talk on is, getting into the oil and gas industry. How challenging is it? Because most times young professionals say it's very hard to get into the industry. The industry is like a cult, this and that. For you to enter, you need connection, you need this. But from the likes of you and a few other young professionals that I know who have put in effort and hard work and have shown value and are there now, do you think it's really challenging to get into the industry? And if it is, what are the challenges?
Now that's the big one, right? The big question
Yeah,
for both students, recent graduate, and young professionals. Um, will I say it is challenging? In all honesty, right? It is challenging. It is challenging, and it was challenging. So in my little experience and my little opinion, I
yeah,
believe that opportunities are rising, right?
yeah,
With my understanding of how the current industry trends and how the industry is moving, be it okay by the impact of the PIA or the impact of retirement, you know, or so a lot of moving factors or a lot of moving parts are happening at this moment, and new opportunities will come up. But yes, it is challenging, right? It is challenging to it is challenging to get into the industry. And it is challenging because most times, in my little experience as well, or my opinion, most times we kind of lack the
yeah,
skill sets, be it soft wise, right? The soft skills or power skills or the technical skills that are needed to, break into the industry. And also on the flip side, I believe that to an extent there's just this disconnect, right? There's a disconnect
yeah,
between the students, recent graduates, and young professionals that are coming up, and then be it the higher ups, I like to call them the older granites, right? The more
yeah,
experienced persons, the more competent professionals. So in our local geoscience community, right, within Nigeria, I I believe there's that disconnect between these two parties. So I believe it is one single chain of talent, but there's a disconnect somewhere in the middle where I'm not seeing as much transfer of knowledge or skills, right? And also probably a very solid talent pipeline existing to absorb students or graduates from academia into the industry. So,
yeah,
um, like you said, I've heard this a number of times. The industry is like a cult, right? You will only get into the industry, or once you get into the industry, you start seeing things that you would not have known or come to its
yeah.
realization if you are still outside of that industry, outside of this industry.
That's true.
So
That's true.
um that's where the challenge I believe lies, right? We need to do something as a community, right? One, and then as a nation. And there are different organizations, parties, there are different initiatives that are coming up to address that. And the sooner they get rolling, right, the better for our local geoscience community, because we need to bridge that gap, that skill gap. I don't know if I am allowed um to go deeply as I want to go, right? But if I should just if I should just give a bit of insight, right?
Yes,
There,
yes.
there are really, really competent persons, right, in this community, and we just need to latch on to them, because most of them that I've seen, right, they are tending towards their retirement age. Some of them also have retired and now consulting. And I've been opportune to sit with a number of them, and I'm like, wow, wow, such a bright mind, such a brilliant mind, right? We just need to come under this person's tutelage, right? To get the necessary skills, to get the
Yeah,
necessary knowledge, the necessary exposure that will place us on that pedestal to actually become the leaders of tomorrow that we are meant to be, especially within the energy industry. And kudos to all of the companies that are rolling out their graduate internship opportunities, graduate training opportunities, and even those that are absorbing young graduates even without that public notice and all. So, and if I should bring it home, I'd like to also thank Seplat Energy GLC for
Yeah.
the opportunity that was rolled out right by Seplat to train and also develop talent that will be relevant in meeting whatever demands the energy industry within Nigeria is making. And then also kudos to DigiConnect Nigeria Limited. My career basically started off from there, right?
Yeah.
I left the business development role to start off my geoscience career with DigiConnect, and Mr. Abiodun Adesoya heartily took me in, um, gave me the necessary foundation platform to stand, learn, and then grow. So kudos to all of those companies that are doing that, and this is very necessary for our recent graduates to take on these opportunities to maximize them when they are brought to your doorstep or you have the opportunity to clinch on them. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Osama. You have really given insights and touching on soft skills. One of the things you mentioned, I would like you to just highlight for our audience. What soft skills do you think are more necessary? Which of those skills do you think they should build on more, since most of them are aspiring to be in the industry? And how do you think they can go about it?
Ah, so I usually have a struggle, right? When it comes to soft skills, I usually have a struggle trying to rate one over the other. Maybe because I'm still fresh within the industry, still navigating it, but I consider all of them really important. Right, I
Yeah.
consider all of them really important. So anyone you opportunity to hear about, read about, know about, take it really seriously. And communication is one big one. Communication, really one big soft skills that recent graduate students, young professionals should try as much as possible to build. And communication is not just in speaking. That's just public speaking. Communication is mainly knowing what to say, how to say it, and then delivering it at the right time. And even with that communication, managing feedbacks, right? Or knowing how to give feedback, when to give feedbacks. So communication, having good communication skills is very paramount, right? Within the industry, also, I would say time management for um our industry, narrowing it down to the geoscience aspect of things, right? So you're going to be working on projects, right?
Yeah.
You have timelines, you have deadlines to meet. So you need to know how to manage those times. And for you to manage those times, prioritization, knowing how to prioritize comes in. So that's another skill. So as you are unraveling one skill, you are getting to um, encounter another skill that you have to work on, right? So
Yeah.
knowing what to prioritize, knowing when to escalate, you can come across a challenge and you don't just sit there or don't just romance the challenge and all. You should know when to escalate and how to escalate those challenges. Then presentation skills are also very important within our industry, because you are going to be, so now in line with communicating, you are going to be presenting the ideas that be it the ideas, be it the work you've done on a particular project, be it a client. So different, to an extent, there are certain skill sets that you will see that are interconnected if you're on one side of or the other of this industry. So if you're on the consulting side of the industry, certain skills, especially if you're a young professional, might not really be um paramount as much. But as you grow, will I say older, or if you as you go more experienced, it becomes important. Let me give you an example. So within my first few weeks in Seplas, right, I we had a team meeting on a particular day, and I noticed that we're not just speaking about technical things, right? We're not just discussing, oh, what is the structure of this map, or what is the volumes in this reservoir. That was not just the only thing we're discussing, right? We're also discussing business. We're talking about clients. We're talking about so that business side things came up, right? But I saw it more clearly, right, within that environment. So since this is a bigger company, right, so there are a lot of other facets of business operations you're going to see, and in that case, it brings that opportunity for you to. So the business acumen becomes um, a good to have, and that was when I started understanding certain job ads that I would see where they are asking for, oh, these candidates must have business acumen, or must have business operation skills, that sort of thing. And I was like, oh, so this is the reason, right? Because now you're not just all about interpreting seismic. You're not just all about creating depths or time structure maps. You're not just all about planning wells, or doing volumetric assessments. Now you are also going to be interfacing with different business operations or clients or what have you. So that business side was one I discovered recently, that okay, this is a this is also the reason why they are asking for this skill, and that's why we need to get it. So um I've mentioned, like, I think 4 or 5. Then to add to that, you also have to be inquisitive. Your curiosity matters a lot, right? Question a lot. You are young, you are fresh. A lot of concepts might not sit fully within you when it comes to understanding it. A lot of concepts might not come off easily to you, right, in understanding. So you need to ask questions. You might need to even try to clarify why certain things are happening, right? So your curiosity is very important. um you also being teachable, right? Being teachable on a personal note, and being teachable externally, and that's tied to lifelong learning. So you need to be a lifelong learner, right? You have to continuously learn. And it is so important in our time and age, because we are having the advent of AI, you are having rapid technological advancements. And with those rapid technological advancements, there is naturally or automatically a need for we young professionals to always be on our toes when it comes to learning.
Yeah.
So learning is a very good one. Uh, so that's so far my skills I can put on the table. I can decide to also add proactivity. Now I've talked about three. That's three of my, like, core. Okay, I left out one, but I have three core values. One being excellence, proactivity, and lifelong learning. Right. So two of all those I've mentioned now, proactivity, and then also is a very good skill you have to imbibe, because most times certain opportunities can pass you by just
Yeah.
because you didn't make an attempt to raise your hand. And I'll take you from um, a scenario that happened, I think, in 2024 with Madam Tubosu Afonlayo. Right, she has been a very great instrument also in my journey. It was just at one of our mentorship um, gathering under Pro Ally within the Nexus community, which I will-
Yeah.
which I will highly recommend. If you allow me to do that here, I highly recommend that
Yes, please. You're allowed
because
to.
it's very necessary. It's very necessary, right? Mentorship. because majority of maybe the loopholes, um, access information I've been able to gather, escape or join has been through by mentorship, right? And the Nexus community is, well, the Nextars community, which it is now, is a very, very important community for STEM graduates. Right. So we had mentorship gathering one Saturday, sometime in 2024, and she just threw the question, right, within that session, who would want to go for, or what would you want to go for? Would you want to go for XP event? And I was with man. I was like, yeah, I want to. I want to. A lot of people were shying off. I was like, I want to, and I was sponsored for it. I was sponsored to go for that event, and when I went for the event, I was opportune to see what the engineers do within the oil and gas industry to an extent. See more of what the engineers do in the oil and gas industry to an extent, and connect what I had known as regarding drilling operations theoretically to reality. So there I saw some logging tools, interacted with the
Yeah.
engineers to get a more rounded or fleshed out knowledge or insight about the energy industry, both on the geoscience end and then also on the engineering end. So yeah, be ready to take on responsibilities, right? Do not be scared of responsibilities as young professionals. That's one maybe attitudinal or behavioral quality you might need to imbibe, right? Be ready to take on responsibilities. Be ready to challenge yourself, right? Because it's in challenging yourself you will leave your comfort zone and you actually grow. So those I've spoken a lot too. Abraham. So that
That was
those
on my
are
list.
those are skills. And
This is really really insightful and valuable. I just
I
wanted
mean,
you to even continue.
if you allow me,
There's lots of value.
I will just talk. If you allow me, I'll just continue speaking. Right? You might need to just like call me back
Yeah,
to other at some point. But yeah, those are skill sets. Uh, adding cherries to the top of that would be like, oh,
yeah.
try to build your problem solving skills, right? So because
Okay.
in encountering challenges, therein lies a problem. So try to build your problem solving skills. Don't shy away from it. Um,
Mm,
think critically, right? In this our industry, as a geoscientist, you must learn how to think critically. You must just need to know how to hold that information, right? Dissect it all around, connect it to what you can connect, and then bring out something from it. So that critical thinking is very important. Then also
very
your
important.
collaboration skills. You're not working alone. You're not working in a silo. So you have to collaborate both amongst yourself, geoscientists, and also maybe with the engineers. And if it's a large organization, you're also working with probably the commercial people, right? Procurement, logistics people, finance, you're not just working alone. So you must
Yeah.
learn how to collaborate. You must learn how to work as a team. You must also learn how to work individually. And in our industry as well, being detail oriented too is very important, right? You have to be nitty gritty with the information. You have to be detailed with the information that you are, or the data you are working on, the kind of information you are bringing out, because to drill a well is costly. Oh.
It's a
To
lot.
drill a well is very it's
It's
costly.
a
Oh.
lot.
So you cannot afford to make mistake as much. So you have to be very particular about what you do, right? And then maybe to give a final one would be leadership, right?
Yeah.
Leadership in both self, leadership in team, cross functionally or multidisciplinary leadership. Very, very important. Yeah. So you need to know how to lead, right? And in leading, not just being a nominal thing, leading actually in making impact, right? And yeah, It's very important because you would have an opportunity to, you might have an opportunity to do so, be it within a project team or organization as a whole. So your leadership skill needs to be on par. So yeah, that's where I'll leave it at this moment. Thank you.
This is really, really, really valuable. And to be honest, this is the whole essence of Project Build, to bring in professionals like yourself, be it the young professionals or those that are very much advanced in the profession, to give us value. And this is what you have just done, Mr. Ozoma.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much,
I
Ibrahim.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So
Thank you so much.
I believe that anybody who is listening to this and his or her notes is not filled, that person needs to work on needs to work on himself. But not to take too much of your time, I just want you to give advice to young professionals, recent graduates, and even those who are still in school that are aiming for the industry. I know you have said a lot that they can take home from, but I just want you to give something to the upcoming professionals.
Okay, so advice and insights.
Yeah.
Um, let's start off with the young professionals, right? So one key advice I like to give is be optimistic. Right, I usually say it a lot, but being optimistic is actually hard, right?
Yeah.
Let's not make anything quite fancy. Being optimistic is hard, but try as much as possible to be optimistic, right? And even for this time, right? I'm not a soothsayer, but I think with what I'm seeing, right? I think
Yeah.
opportunities are going to rise, right? Within now and um maybe a 5 year gap, right? I just know that this industry is going to shake in a way, right? There are a lot of things that are going to happen, right? And opportunities will be bettered, but you just need to be optimistic. You have to be steadfast, stay your ground, man your ground. That's one I usually like giving to people that are still my contemporaries, basically young professionals and all, because it can be tough and it is really tough, right? But by the grace of God, with the mercy of God's favor, um, it's all end in praises. So being optimistic is one, and then two would be stay ready, right? So if you're a Christian, you know the Bible passage that says, "Faith without works is dead." So optimism, most likely, let's put it in or put it in the place as your faith, right? Your works then is you staying ready, right? Developing yourself as much as possible, right? Sharpening those skills, trying to build your own value proposition. So, what value are you bringing to the table? If the opportunity comes now, would you be valuable enough, right, for that company or whatever company to give you that chance, right? Would you have amassed enough knowledge, amassed enough skill, enough experience or exposure, right, to to do to be the right candidate to that company? Then three would most likely be sometimes you need to take that leap of faith. That's a scary one, but sometimes you need to take that leap of faith. So in my yeah, as of 2024, and God bless the God bless my first employer basically. He took a chance on me, right? That's how that's how I got my first business development role, fresh out of school. I, I don't know till today. I don't know why. They actually considered me for that role. That was one. I've been trying to ask, but I think I'll get the answer later. So I was fresh out of school. Like I graduated November 2023. Like no, okay, by paper, yes, it's November 2023. But I'd finished my exams as at August 1st, and then also did my project defense as of September, I think 25th or so. Oh no, I think 15th or 14th thereabouts. And I remember that we went for um NAPI mini conference around that September time. So I just recently
Yeah.
graduated from school, and by March I had gotten a business development role. It was paying me good, right? So it was paying me fairly well. I was working hybrid, um, preparing presentation decks, meeting up with clients, making proposals, and all of that. But I knew I wanted to develop to a large extent my core geoscience skills, right? My 400 level internship experience was with NNPC Engineering and Technical Company, NETSCO, and I had a mix of engineering and I wanted to deepen that. I wanted to deepen that geoscience skill. I wanted to deepen that geoscience experience and exposure. So as at May, I I decided that I was going to do my NYSC um, in the geoscience firm, and I started, what firms can I easily break into, right? What firms can I move into, acquire this experience, grow within that um, um, company or firm, and then, build my skill set. So, um, and then I found DigiConnect. So I went in, spoke with, tried to meet Mr. Biodo Adesoya. Luckily enough, time and chance favored me. So I started off in DigiConnect. It was when you are actually the business development role was actually very sweet. Don't get me wrong, it was a sweet role. Like I was chilling, I was chilling. I would not go to work. I don't go to work. I don't go to the office, right? I'm just majorly, identifying clients, identifying opportunities, and
Technical
then
aspect
working on
wasn't really
them.
much.
So there was nothing stressing me,
Mm.
working from home hybrid, collecting, good money also, because it was a business development executive role. That was the role, a business
Yeah.
development executive. And I looked at the hierarchy in business development. It was a business development executive is way high up, right? So, and that's why today I still try to ask myself, like, what did they actually see that would make them give me that role? Because I was like, that's an executive role. So, long story short, I sent in my resignation. They asked me, would I want to? Am I sure I really want to? Won't I want to like do the NYC with them? I was like, I want to like deepen my geoscience skill. And they wished
Mm.
me well as I started off in the geosciences. So that was the leap of faith I took, right?
Yeah.
That was the leap of faith I took to chase or pursue what I want. And by the grace of God, it was not a bad one. It was not a bad decision. It was not a bad action by the grace of God. So take that leap of faith, right? You never can tell where it is going to lead you to, right? But just believing, trusting God that, that action, that jump is going to actually use something worthwhile in the near future. So yeah. Then lastly, network, right?
Mm.
Network a lot. That's in addition to see that um your next job opportunity or your next opportunity can be in your friend, or
Mm.
opportunities are in people, or you are just 6 persons away from the president. Network, I don't know.
So,
I used to say this thing. I used to like when I started off my networking, right, as far back as 2019, when I started joining the NAPI webinars, right, what I do as a then once the social media team rolls out that announcement for the webinar, I go on LinkedIn and I search the person, like the facilitator, the speaker, and I connect to the speaker right before then. So, share my excitement about learning from them, there. And after the session is done, I go back. That was a great session, right? Learn so and so and so and so from the session. It would be nice to keep in touch, and that will be it. And that was how I started. And at snappy conferences or at technical meetings when I've graduated and all, you'd connect with them physically. So I knew them and knew a whole bunch of them online,
Yeah.
right? Maybe the relationship was fluid enough to get to the point of exchanging phone numbers or WhatsApp contacts, and then we are keeping in touch also on WhatsApp. But I started seeing them in real life or physically at NAPI conference,
Yeah.
technical meetings. That was roughly almost like 4 years after or 5 years after, right? So a whole number of my networking was done online, right? And there's this saying that goes, I hope I can actually remember it and place it well. They said, build your network before you need it or before you need them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I think God's grace just helped me in doing that, right? In building my network even before I started needing them as much. So networking is something that you cannot underrate. You cannot sideline it. You need it. You need it. Just in last year alone, I have a particular mentor that I'm very much grateful to. The number of opportunities he placed me on, right? The number of
Yeah.
opportunities he placed me on, I don't know. It's just God that will bless him because it was just a lot. Like I was like, this man, wow. Like send me job opportunities, to the point I had to some of them I interviewed for them, but didn't continue due to interest. So one I wanted to do masters for, but they wanted somebody permanent, and I was like, masters, let me just get my masters done and all. Before Seplat came around,
Yeah.
there was a particular one also I went to. I did the, I did sort of, so I did a work for him, right? And in doing that work, I got connected to the deputy director for NUPRC, certain geoscientists from NEPL in Benin. Like it was just it was in my network. It was networking that gave me that platform. And the thing about networking, and that's where certain students or graduates or young professionals tend to miss it, right? In networking, it is a two-way thing, right? You have to also offer value. You have to also
Yes.
offer value for the value you are gaining or the value you want to gain. So I try as much as possible to identify where I can be of value to you. I'm not a leech. Don't try to be a leech. So
Yeah.
offer value where you can offer value and nurture those relationships way, way, way before you would need them, or way, way, way before you start reaping those sticks. So uh I guess that's that's it for me.
Thank you so much to our audience. Again, let me iterate: be positive, be very, very optimistic, make sure you are ready, also have value, try to network as much as you can. You have actually given us the roadmap and the formula to the industry. And I must commend you, sir, and say thank you
Thank you.
very much. Everything you
Thank you
have
so
said
much.
here is nothing but the truth. And
Mm,
I'd like to urge each and every one of us to not just listen to what Mr. Uzoma has shared with us once and just go on that like that. Come back, listen again and again until it sticks. It will help in capacity development, which is one reason for starting Project Build. So thank you so much for taking out the time because you are a very busy man and you made out time to be here with us. I really appreciate
more.
the effort. Thank you
It's
so
God that
much
will
for
help
being.
us. So I mean,
Yeah.
so just to add, so you can, as young professionals, or if you identified what you want to go for, you can become
Yeah.
creative about it, right? And that's where creative problem solving comes into play. Most times, you might on the online space might not be working. Sometimes you might have to just move out, right? Go to the
Yeah.
companies, knock on their door, and tell them,
Yes.
oh, this is what I want to so most times you have to your strategy or approach, right? You have to apply. That's basically it. Just move out, connect with these persons, move out, be bold, be
Mm,
correct. Nobody's going to bite you. Highest they will say is no, right? But you know what you want. You know what you want to achieve, what you want to gain, where you want to go to. So the no's, you will receive the no's a lot, right? You receive the no's a lot, but be firm, be courageous, right? But look past all those no's and move on. Move on. Yeah. So that just be cherry to it. Over to you, Bram.
once again, thank you very much for your wonderful insights.
Thank you
And
too for having me.
this is indirectly a form of mentorship for our audience. So
Ah,
I urge them to really, put they should go and search you on LinkedIn as well. Follow his follow and connect with him on LinkedIn and any other platform you can get to find him. As you can see, this is a person of value, and you can actually gain a lot from Mr. Uzoma. And he's a very approachable person. You know, he's not someone that will bite you or anything. He's willing to share, his insights and knowledge at any point in time to help you
yeah, my
grow.
be soon.
And but then don't be a leech, oh, don't be a leech. So thank you very much, Mr. Ozoma,
Thank you.
and I would
Thank
really
you so
love
much, Bram.
to have you again on this podcast.
Anytime.
Um, all right, thank you very much,
Anytime.
sir.
Anytime. Yes, sir.
So
All
we've
right.
come
So
to the end.
thank you everyone. Thank you, Bram. Thank you also to Big Toe to Service Limited and it's behind it. It's a great platform job, right? And we need more of at least to building the human capital with what you said, building in that gap, the gap that we're having in the community. So yeah, thank you also. And I don't even touch my camera, right? Just pardon me. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Hoping to have you here once again to share more insights. And we've come to the end of today's podcast. Thank you all for joining. You can drop your comments on the in the comment section. Make sure to share to anyone who is going to see this as valuable. Your friends. This is also a form of mentorship indirectly, like I stated earlier. Make sure to like, subscribe, and keep following our page for more updates. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.